whose very name includes the title Elohim, right? God. So that he
Because
who believes,
Hashem is Moshe, if it has all the letters of Hashem. Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Moshe's, let me say something to you that might be interesting, right? Because
Sure.
I already know from this point on, this conversation is going to get very heavy. So allow me to just back up for a moment and set the playing field right. In the oral tradition, there's this idea that the name of every prophet alludes to their calling and their function. So I know the Samaritans don't regard the books of the prophets as canon works of Torah, but
Mhm.
still allow me to impress and share this with you. So
Sure.
beginning with a very prominent prophet in the Tanakh by the name of Isaiah or Yeshayahu, his name denotes salvation. Yeshayahu, right?
Right.
Adonai Hashem shall save.
Shah Adonai. Yes.
And throughout his works, all of his chapters, he's primarily talking about the way in which Hashem will bring salvation through the world through the Mashiach. Right? That's the main thing, the main theme of Isaiah's writings, that Hashem will bring salvation in the world through his son, through the Messiah. In the book of Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah is mainly concerned with commanding that the people change their ways because Hashem is about to uproot them and carry them into exile. So the term Yirmiyahu denotes Yerom Adonai, Yerom Yah, meaning Yah will be uplifted. Even as in Rabbinic Judaism, they say once the children of Israel went into exile, the Shekinah also went into exile, which is the presence of the Almighty, also goes into Galut. And they said that the divine presence of Hashem lifted up from the temple, moved away. So the term Yirmiyahu or Yerom Yah denotes the ascent of the Creator away from this place. Then you have the prophet Yechezkel, Ezekiel. And what Ezekiel comes to do is he repeats much of what Isaiah says and much of what Jeremiah says. But unlike the two aforementioned, he's not concerned just with chastising Israel. He's also concerned with strengthening them, because he wants them to understand that even though Hashem is punishing them for what they have done to him and what they have done to the world, that essentially Hashem will restore their captivity and even bring them back and even rebuild the temple. And all of the last chapters of the book of Yechezkel, Ezekiel, deal with the building of the temple. And the name Yechezkel denotes Kazak El, which is El strengthens. Or Yechezkel Yah, or excuse me, will strengthen El, or hands, right? El's hand will be strengthened, right? And so Isaiah's name denotes bringing salvation. Jeremiah's name denotes the lifting up of Hashem's presence away from the land. And Ezekiel's name denotes that Hashem will strengthen the people. So on that thought, the rabbis pause, and a question is asked. So then what does Moshe's name mean? What did Moshe do? And when you think about what Moshe does, one of the things that is striking about Moses is that for a lot of people in the world, they remember Moses not just as the prince of Egypt, but the man that split the Red Sea, right? So Moshe was drawn from water. He splits the sea. With the name Moshe, there are a lot of things that evolve around water in his story, right? Mayim, because
he was removed from the waters,
right,
and then
in the Torah, it's at the waters of Mirba that he says, "Shall we give you drink to the people?" So when the Egyptian Pharaoh, and now I'm going into the Targum, when the Egyptian Pharaoh told the Hebrew midwives to kill the boys, and the boys and they did not, this was because of a dream that he had. In Targum Yohanatan, which is a pseudepigraphical work written about the 1st and 2nd centuries BCE and 1st and 2nd centuries Common Era, they give additional information. I'm sure you're familiar with some of the Targums. They give additional information on things that we're reading in the Torah. And so Targum Yohanatan says that the Pharaoh of the Exodus has a dream that a lamb from among the children of Israel will rise and deliver his people out of Egypt and will destroy and bring Egypt to its knees. So what that Pharaoh does, he commands the Hebrew midwives to execute all of the sons because of this dream. But also in this dream, his magicians told him that the downfall of Moses, this lamb, would be water. Remember one thing about prophecy. Prophecy can come in some sense to nations outside of Israel, but it's never through a clear lens. They never have a perfect picture. So they were right to say that the end of Moses involved water, but it didn't mean that he was going to die in water. The end of Moses is that Moses lost the right to enter the land of Israel because of the event at Meribah, right? Which is the waters where he said, "Shall we give you drink?" And the magicians were able to see this in some sense, but because they don't have the strength of revelation and prophecy like the prophets in among Israel,
They thought
they
it's
were not.
actually death.
Huh?
So because they couldn't see it, they thought it's actually death.
They thought it was actually death. So they were right in some sense, but
Right.
obviously they were not accurate all the way. So that's just one way
Incredible.
of
I
looking
never
at.
thought about like just the theme of waters. You kind of opened up that for me. I never thought about it.
Yeah, I forgot the rap. I think it's the Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman. I think he's the first
Okay.
person that I encountered to share this, that when you think about Moses' life, there are so many things in his life that that water is surrounded around. So that there's a theme in Moses' life that is so much connected to water, right? His mother
Okay.
puts him in an ark on the Nile River, and Pharaoh's daughter is bathing in the waters of the Nile River. Moses
Wow.
splits through Hashem, of course, the Yam Suf, the Sea of Reeds. Moses is not allowed to enter into the land because of the waters of Meribah. He gets his name because he was drawn from water. So water is so much present. He's on Mount Sinai 40 days and 40 nights. The embryo is in the womb of a mother for exactly 40 days. In the womb of a mother that the embryo is in, the embryonic sac is filled with water. Even the
Wow.
number 40 of Moshe being on Har
On
Sinai,
Sinai.
Mount Sinai for 40 days, it has a numerical value of 40. That's the letter Mem, the first letter in Moshe's name. So there's so much about his life story that water plays a role in, but there's something else there. Because if the name of the prophet alludes to the greatest thing that they did, I don't think we can say that the greatest thing that Moses did was split water. I don't even think the greatest thing that we could say was that Moses was used in the deliverance in Egypt. I think the two greatest things that Moses does in rabbinic tradition is one thing. He reveals the name of the creator, and he's the person that becomes the giver of the Torah. And in rabbinic tradition, that's the same thing. The name of Hashem is the Torah itself. So when you think about Moses' name, Moshe, when rearranged, the letters are Hashem,
Hashem.
which is what you spoke of.
Yes. That is right. You're spitting fire right there. So,
Baruch Hashem.